everybody. We're going to talk about Jupiter and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Plus, we're in the Taurus season, just opening up. So, what does that mean? Well, it means something for you individually, and it means something for the world. We're going to break that down in this video. We're also going to look at the cycles of those planets. We're going to look at what the sign means, how it works with Taurus. We're going to look at what happened in history during one of those cycles. And we're going to also look at how it's going to feel for you individually, when the feelings started, and when the feelings are going to wane away. You're going to understand about cycles. The more you learn about astrology, the more you're going to understand how the cycles affect all of us. We're also going to look at the other planets involved and what makes this particular cycle of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction unique and extremely different from all the others. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. We'll get them answered for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the chart of today where they are in conjunction, and that will give you a nice visual, and then we could start from there. Well, here we go. Today is April 20th, and let's start with the sky and what it looks like right now. Even though we're going to speak to Jupiter and Uranus, 21 degrees Taurus conjunction, we can't ignore all the other energies. And there are far more energies out there, all the asteroids that I don't really dive into, but a lot of other astrologers do. I just kind of focus on Chiron. But so we have to take this into consideration, the planets and how they work together. So right now we're looking at 21 degrees of Taurus. And what does that mean? That means that's the exact position of Jupiter and Uranus. So if we look back to February, you could see that they were close together. They were starting to get close together. So I wanted to show you, here's Jupiter in Taurus, 9 degrees. So that's 10 degrees apart. That's what astrologers call an orb. And that's the distance of degrees between one planet and another. So it's like a margin or a distance. So every astrologer kind of has their own little definition of what an orb entails. Is it 8 degrees for a transit? Is it 10 degrees? They're all different for everyone else. And then we all break the rules too, because you could feel the energy. So you go, yeah, it's in effect. So what happens is the planets are cycling all the time. They're in constant motion, okay? They're always moving. However, they move at different rates of speed. So Jupiter moves quicker than Uranus does, and it's in its own path. But what happens now, and we're going to bring it up to the next month, you see how Jupiter came closer to Uranus. So it's always a slower planet being stationary, sort of, and the faster planet moving towards that more stationary planet, okay? Because Uranus is an outer planet, and those planets move very slowly. The slowest one on this chart is Pluto, 1 degree Aquarius, which is also a fixed sign. And Taurus is a fixed sign, and so is Scorpio. So these fixed signs have this energy of no change, don't change it. Let's just maintain it. Keep it the way it is. I don't want to hear about change. It's getting me stressed out. Don't change it. So they're very resistant to change. And that's very important in astrology. So let's look at Taurus as well. Taurus is an earth sign, and that is a fixed sign, but it's earthy. So that means it's slower. Okay. We have a fixed sign that is Aquarius, that is air, which is not as slow, it's quicker. Okay. And then we have the water sign of Scorpio, which is a slow too, but way faster than Earth, but not as fast as air because there's the weight. Okay. So there are a lot of physics and a lot of math when we look at astrology if you want to be thorough. That's one of the problems with what we have going on now in this world, in the last degrees of Neptune and Pisces. There's a lot of confusion out there. There's a lot of delusion and illusions, and people are in the fog because information is very much watered down. Okay. And that's going to stay there for a while because that's another slow moving planet. So we have Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus that are slow moving. So now April, they are together. And what's going to happen next month is Jupiter will go past Uranus. Okay. It will go beyond it. And then but it's still 10 degrees less than 10 degrees apart. And then you will see it's now in Gemini, so it's still 10 degrees apart. However, you're going to have a dissociation of the energy because now Jupiter's in an air sign, not an earth sign like Taurus. So you see how complicated it is. But if you want to truly look at astrology in a more complete way, you have to understand that we're not just talking about one set of planets over here. You understand? So I'm saying it slowly. You could always speed up the tape if you want to hear it quicker, but that's so everyone really gets an idea of what's going on. So let's also look at the meaning of Taurus. So that gives these planets, which is an action, Jupiter is an action, Uranus is an action, and it tells you the characteristics. It's going to be slow, won't want to change. It has to do with the earth. It has to do with anything that grows on the earth, animals of the earth. It also has to do with money, possessions, food. It has to do with sensuality, feeling, anything tactile, and it has to do with sex. The actual physical part of sex has to do with comfort and security. All that, because money makes you feel secure. A hug makes you feel secure. You see how it all works together? Excuse me. So we have the planet of Jupiter. Just think of a balloon that keeps filling up and it keeps expanding. Now, Jupiter in ancient times was considered the benevolent planet. So anything Jupiter touches is wonderful, it's great, it's full of joy, but it also has to do with our beliefs, our values, the justice system, law enforcement, and ethics, morals, higher education, and it's looking at the big picture. Okay, that's Jupiter. But remember, as it's expanding, It is a balloon and it has a limit. What is ever expanding and even more expansive, but mysterious because it's infinite, is Neptune. So I want you to really understand the differences in the subtleties of the energies. So Jupiter is this actor that always is making things bigger. They love big. They love the whole worldwide internet, everything. We're all connected, different cultures across the water, in the Atlantic, it's travel, has to do with travel. All that is Jupiter. And Jupiter is always related to and associated with, it's an archetype, they call it, of Sagittarius. So they have similar meanings. So the ruler of the sign have similar meanings, as long, and also the house of the natural wheel, which Jupiter Sagittarius on the natural wheel belongs up here in the ninth house. They all have the same kind of energy, global energy, the big picture, not the little details. And if you want to see, so this is in the society. Anything in this part of the wheel is society. Anything below the wheel is personal. Okay, got it? So we're talking about now the conjunction, which means that the energies are blended like a smoothie. They have to work together. And what is Uranus? Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius, 2,500 years. We have Pluto that just entered Aquarius. So what does Uranus mean? What kind of energy is that? And I like to do like a picture in your mind. Think of a lightning bolt. It startles you. It's sudden, it's unexpected, but it's exciting. Electrical storms are exciting. It's electric. It's also a receiver, like a satellite dish. It's the future. It's a blending of the future and the ancient together. It's Uranus. It's taken a higher perspective because it's way up high in elevation. So what happens when you go high in elevation? You see a wider perspective. So this is big and expansive, Jupiter, but this is like, wait, this is a whole new altitude and how things appear. So it also means science, technology. And you could tell, Aquarius, we're in the AI world. We're in the future of electronics. But let's look at the sign of Aquarius, which is here. Pluto's now in 2 degrees Aquarius, moving ever so slowly. And pretty soon it's going to go backwards into Capricorn for the last time in 248 years. Okay. So that goes to show you the timing. Timing's very important. They always say divine timing, regular timing, but timing is important. So Aquarius is the sign of I know. So this is I have, Taurus is I have. Aquarius is I know. So they get all the information with the higher mind, and then they know. It's beyond philosophy. It's I know. And then the last one after Aquarius is Pisces, and that's like I exist. I'm part of a big universe, and it's very mysterious, and we're not really quite sure. That kind of elusive energy of Pisces. So we have also Neptune and Pisces that go together in rulership, and it belongs in the 12th house. So that's why we have all this confusion behind all these other planets. Think of it as a backdrop on a scene in a play. See, life is an interesting illusion. And if you really want to get deep and understand why you're here, you just have to understand what is the earth about. It's a school of hard knocks. It's to learn dark light. And that's really what it is, because wars have existed from like day one. We've always had wars. Okay, we're going to talk about wars in a minute. So that Uranus Aquarius energy is blending with the Jupiter Sagittarius energy, but now it has a flair of your possessions, my security, my home, my building. So, as you can see in the world, a lot has been escalating. So, when we look at the astrology, we could look at it two ways: how it affects the world and how it affects you individually. So when it affects the world, that's called mundane astrology. And how astrologers predict what's going to happen is they look back in history. The other way that astrology will affect you is on a personal level. And that's when you look at your natal chart. So you could pick any chart and it will be a bi-wheel, two wheels, and you could see how your planets are relating to not only the Jupiter and Uranus, but the rest of the cosmic picture. All right. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments. So, astrology could be really dry and boring, folks, but what makes it exciting is when you could see that it affects your chart. But let's go back in history. In the last time that Jupiter and Uranus were together were 14 years ago. And every 14 years, Jupiter and Uranus come together. All right. Just like that Beatles song, Come Together. And it gets exciting for the whole world and for you if it touches your planets. But on a, but what about when was Jupiter and Uranus together in Taurus? Well, they were together in Taurus in 1941. Okay, you history buffs, what happened in 1941? Do you remember? It was called World War III. So World War III had lots of countries involved with all this aggression, Nazi Germany, killing people all over the world, especially the Jews, a lot of persecution, a lot of propaganda, a lot of misinformation. Okay. So, that being said, if we go back and we could look at what were the planets like then you'll see how that goes and why it's different this year compared to 1941, because this is a unique configuration in 2024, but in 1941, it was different. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm always curious and I want to see things for myself. So this was May 11th in 1941, and we have Uranus, Jupiter, 25 and 26 degrees in Taurus. But what's the difference back then and now? Okay. We had a lot of fixed energy then because it was in the fixed sign of Taurus. And look at all these energies in Taurus. Where currently there are a lot of energies in Mars. So we can't, in Aries, but we're just looking at May. But the thing is, the war lasted way longer than an astrological season. So this was going on. So let's look at the outer planets. So the outer planets, we had Chiron in Cancer, which was all about food, nourishment, nurturing. So there was a big healing going on, but a lot of pain and suffering. when it came to family life. Okay. And Pluto just went into a new sign of Leo, which was, hey, first time in a long time that there was some leisure time. So they were starting to get a taste of leisure time and let's play. Before that was very serious because Pluto was in Cancer. We see here that Neptune was in an earth sign as well, but it was very organized. So that energy of don't organize me in an organizing sign, that didn't work very well. And you could see too that there was a personal planet in Aquarius. We were not in the age of Aquarius, and we didn't have slow moving Pluto in Aquarius. So I just want to point that out as a major difference. You look at the outer planets, not just one thing. Okay. So then let's go back to reality here, and then we'll look at today. So you see here that the sun moved into Taurus. So we have to acknowledge that Taurus babies are having birthdays. So happy birthday for all you Taurus people. And so that means that eventually, and I'll show you by the day, eventually the sun is going to move towards your Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. And that's how astrologers make predictions, because they know that anyone born in Taurus between 0 degrees to 29 degrees Taurus is going to feel this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction more so than maybe a 15-degree Gemini, okay? Or a 0-degree Virgo, because it's not a 10-degree orb and there are no aspects. That's how we do it, just in case you're curious. So what could that mean then for the world? What has it meant? Well, let's see what's been happening. We've had earthquakes, we've had volcanoes. There was even an earthquake in New Jersey on the almost same parallel as New York City. That was a 4.8. That was pretty big. And I believe I did a YouTube on that. So our earth is changing in front of us, but suddenly and unexpectedly and in big ways. You see, that's all you have to do. You take a couple of key words and you put it together. The earth, but it also means our food. So our food is changing in big and unexpected ways. We're finding out more and more information about our food, what's in it, what isn't in it, what should be in it. We're also finding out about the farmers and the food supplies and the food chain, and even the earth, how farmers are working. This also means that there's scientific innovation. So they're always doing something to change the earth. We're talking about seed clouds. Look what happened in Dubai. If you don't believe that clouds are seeded, well, you're just misinformed, because I personally know a woman back in the 1970s that was hired by the government to fly in an airplane and seed the clouds. I don't know the exact chemical, but that was her job. She got paid to do that. And that was way back when. So the technology's been around. And who knows who started it, but all that kind of stuff is coming out into the open. But that has to do with also, we have purpose, we have communication, money and love, and healing and suffering, all in this area of Aries, which is very assertive, very aggressive. And so we're finding out a lot of information and we're loving it. And that's thanks to the World Wide Web over here and social media. And this is social media too, because of Venus Jupiter conjunction. But this is the purpose. The purpose is to wake us up. This is an awakening. Jupiter, Uranus, huge awakening. And if you have any planets in Taurus between 11 and 1 degree Gemini, you're going to be feeling it. Now, the closer it is to 21 degrees, the more you're going to feel it. Okay. That's the way, it's like the closer you get to the bonfire, the hotter it gets. Same thing with the planets. The closer you are to those vibrations, the more impact it will have on you. So we have seen how the Jupiter Uranus is affecting the world, technology, how technology is affecting our food, even our comforts. And they're always coming out with all these gadgets to clean the house so we're more comfortable. We don't have to work so hard. Isn't that great? I just love it. Now they don't just vacuum the floors, they will mop the floors and everything. And even with aviation, we're having flying cars, and that's going to change the way that we travel on Earth and things like that. So it's very futuristic and it's very scientific and it's very innovative and genius, okay? And in a huge way. And maybe a more ethical way, okay? I always love to put a positive spin on my readings because I know it doesn't sell. If I did doom and gloom, I'd be viral. But the point is, you have free will, guys. This is so important. And your free will dictate how you're going to use these energies here because it's nothing more than a tool. It's not a weapon. You will hear me say this over and over and over again. So just like a coin has a heads and a tails, these planets have a heads and a tails. Jupiter, if Jupiter is expanding along the waistline, that may not be such a good thing if you're trying to lose weight, right? And so you got a heads and a tails. And what is free will? You have the freedom to choose how you're going to use these energies. All right. Super, super, super important. So choose how you're going to use these energies, guys. Okay. And now let's look at collectively. What does that mean individually that we looked at it collectively? Let's look at it individually. So if you have, for example, I'm going to pull up a chart so you could see how we do it. So let's look at this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. These are the transits, and this is a conjunction here in real-time astrology. And then this is the chart. The natal chart is on the inside. The first thing we see is we match up the numbers. It's just like bingo. So here's the number 21, 21, and 21. So this is an earth sign, Virgo. This is an earth sign, Taurus. And that means that there's a trine. It's a flow of energy. So it may not be a physical impact. It may be just something going on in your mind. But the energy is slower because it's Taurus. So there might be some sudden and unexpected huge changes in your joy, success, and prosperity. You see? And so when you get a forecast with me, that's what we look at. I match up the numbers. And if you guys are doing your own forecasting, look and see what is exact. Now, we don't use 10 degrees. I don't use 10 degrees with the transit connections. I use about 3 or 4 degrees. But let's look at other places in the chart where this Uranus Taurus conjunction is going to impact this personal chart? Well, it's going to impact Jupiter over here and Pluto because it's a conjunction together in Leo, but they're both fixed. So this square, because when they're the same elements, it's a square by definition. And that means, so it's two planets that may have some struggles with the other two planets, but it's a shared energy of huge. So huge transformations and sudden and unexpected changes when it comes to possessions, buildings, love, money, valuables, personal finance. This is all Taurus. And leisure time, performance, entertaining. You see? So there's going to be some work involved or some struggles involved. That's a square. Okay. So those are the two big things that I see over there. And I don't usually mess around with the minor aspects. But don't forget, if I was doing a chart on this, a forecast on this person, the first thing I would say is, okay, you got transiting Pluto 2 degrees Aquarius that is making direct contact with the ascendant 2 degrees Scorpio and 2 degrees Taurus, all fixed signs. Major transformation of self and relationships. And it's not fast. It's like, I don't want to do this. And it could mean losses. It could mean, oh no, not again. But it could also mean wealth. So there's a lot it could mean. So it's up to the individual who has this natal chart to figure out how are they going to use that energy. Are they going to use that energy as, oh, I'm going to try to control everybody and everything, and or I'm going to work with this energy and I'm going to be persistent. That's that fixed energy. And maybe we can make some good money with this plan because it has to do with others and the self, psychology, and possessions. Okay? I hope you like the way that this lays out. And then we're going to go more. So to kind of wind it up, you have learned that conjunctions are a blending of energy, and the sign that it's in will give it the flavor, if it's going to be fast, if it's going to be heavy, if it has to do with your possessions, if it has to do with your love. That's all revealed by the sign. And then the planets have to do with the type of action that occurs. And we know now that Jupiter is expanding and Uranus is sudden and unexpected, like a bolt of electricity or a lightning bolt. And it also has to do with weather, guys. So there's a lot to unpack when we truly become very Saturn and thorough about explaining astrology and its possible meanings. Astrology is all about probabilities and possibilities, but more probabilities. How you work with that energy, I'll say it again, is your free will. Okay. And so this is the last time in 14 years that those two energies are going to come together. The next time it will be in another sign and another degree. So it will hit differently on your natal chart. Okay. But now you know that all these cycling energies always come back. So what you do is you look back, what happened the last time when the Uranus and Jupiter impacted your chart, and what did you make with that energy? What did you do? And then you learn from that. And so when the next one comes around the corner, You could say, well, the last time this happened, it's like a historical chronicle. That's what the charts are. Everybody used to plant their seeds and harvest their plants. It was a timing tool. So, for those of you that don't believe it, well, maybe one day you're going to have an open mind and reconsider because it's been used from day one, 6,000 BC. They have records now, and I'm sure they're going to find out it went back to creation. Okay. Because this is a God contract. The chart is a God contract, it's a soul contract. And you chose to come into this world to learn all the lessons that are depicted in your astrology chart. So, if you liked what you heard today, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, and it will help people find us. You're more than welcome to share the video with other people if you don't want to miss my upcoming videos, because we do the videos in between clients. And so I'm always like kind of juggling to see, but I do want to get important information out there. And I do want to answer people's questions. I've got a whole bunch of videos that I need to do. Like, a lot of people are asking me to do a video about their chart, but they don't have their birth date. So I'm going to do another video on that, because they seem to think that if they don't have a birth time, then they can't have an astrology chart. So that's probably the next one I'm going to do right after I finish with this, is to show people you can find out all this information. So again, as a reminder, astrology is a a bunch of information, 4,000 bits and pieces of information. I'm Ev Zervoudakis, Holistic Healing Astrology, and we put out blogs once a week on our website, holistichealingastrology.com. We do these quick little TikToks that are to inform people, little tidbits of information. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, same information. And you can find my Google reviews under Holistic Healing Astrology as well. So I thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I'll see you again soon. All my love, guys. Bye.